So should we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good morning to Professor Raut and all the participants. Today we are going to start our first session, and our first speaker is Professor Himanshu Bhusan Raut. He is professor and head Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management in Mizoram University, and he is going to talk on tourism in India and its multivariate effects. So let's try to enjoy a journey for tourism along with Professor Raut. So, sir, time is yours, and you may start your presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Very good morning to all. Firstly, I should thank to our Professor Tendu sir, the coordinator of this faculty induction program. As always, he gave me opportunity to deliver the sessions in different programs. And this time also, this session title is Tourism in India and its Multivariate Effects. Before going to the session, I know the participants may be from different disciplines, maybe from tourism also, but still we should know the word what is tourism. Tourism, tourist, travel, these all things, these all words derived from the word tour. Particularly this word tour is derived from one ancient Greek word, which is known as tornus, which is called tornus. Particularly the meaning of tornus is a tool of carpenter which is used to mark one circle. Particularly, this tool starts from one place and again it comes back to the place of origin. That's why this tour or tourism is also implies one person will move from his origin and again will come back to his place of origin after traveling so many places, either by following the organized facilities or unorganized facilities, but he has to come back to his place of origin. So before going to tourism, we should understand the history of tourism, how it has developed. Particularly, the action taken by the person to complete that tour is known as travel. Without traveling, tourism cannot be completed. The tour cannot be completed. And tourism means why we are adding ISN? Because tour in a proper set of activity, proper set of process, the whole process is known as tourism. So what are those? We'll discuss in this. And what is the stand of our country, India, in the sector of tourism, and what all sorts of activities, what all steps have been taken by the government to develop our country as a tourist destination, we'll discuss in this session. Particularly travel is as old as mankind on earth. At the beginning of its existence, man roamed about the planet's surface in search of food, shelter, security, and better habitat. However, with time, such movements were transformed into wanderlust. About 5,000 years ago, climate changes, dwindling food and shelter conditions, hostile invaders made the people leave their homes to seek refuge elsewhere. Like the Aryans left their homes in Central Asia due to climate changes. Perhaps this leads to the development of commerce, trade, and industry. Religion, education, and cultural movement began during the Hindu and Chinese civilizations. Christian missionaries, Buddhist monks, and others traveled far and wide, carrying religious messages, and returned with fantastic images and opinions about the alien people. For centuries, movement of people continued to grow due to the efficiency of transport and the assistance and safety with which the people could travel. By the end of the 15th century, Italy became the intellectual and cultural center of Europe. It represented the classical heritage both for the intelligentsia and aristocracy. During the 16th century, travel came to be considered an essential part of the education of every English young man. Travel thus became a means of self-development.
Sorry, Professor
And
Raut. Your slides are not moving. First one is still.
yes, sir, I'll go into it. I'll go
Okay,
into
okay,
it.
okay, okay,
Sir,
okay. Then fine,
thank you.
then fine. Sorry to disturb. Just see whether it is moving or not.
No, I'll move. I'll move.
Okay, okay, fine, fine.
So travel became a means of self-development and education in its broadest sense. The traditional travel became the part of education, and during that time, that travel was known as grand tour. The Industrial Revolution brought about significant changes in the pattern and structure of British society. Thus, the economy of Britain was greatly responsible for the beginning of modern tourism. It also created a large and prosperous middle class because of remarkable improvement in transportation system in the latter half of 18th century and the first quarter of 19th century. Travel was inspired initially by the need of survival, that means for food, shelter, and security. The desire to expand trade and the quest to conquer. As the transformation of transportation system, the curiosity of transforming the vast and virgin world into a close neighborhood created a new industry that is known as travel and tourism industry. Now we are enjoying all sorts of facilities of travel and tourism sector. And for your information, when this industry came into limelight in 1975, in this month only, on 1st November of 1975, United Nations set one organization that is called UNWTO, United Nations World Tourism Organization, which is working from Madrid, Spain. As per UNWTO, this tourism has been defined as the act and process of spending time away from home in pursuit of recreation, relaxation, and pleasure while making use of the commercial provision of services. For your better understanding, I want to tell you, if one person is moving from its own place to other place for the purpose of job or any kind of business or any kind of remunerative program, if he is earning something, then that travel, that tour cannot be considered as tourism, or that person cannot be considered as tourist. UNWTO specifically mentioned that travel must be for the purpose of recreation, relaxation, and pleasure. And that tour should be non-remunerative. Another one thing which is not mentioned here, I want to clear you, if the travel is more than 1 year, then also it cannot be treated as tour or tourism because it will be considered as migration. And if the travel will be shorter than 24 hours, again that cannot be treated as tourism because those travelers or tourists may be treated as excursionists or day visitors. So the minimum period of traveling should be more than 24 hours and less than one consecutive year. As such, tourism is a product of modern social arrangements which has begun in Europe around 17th century. Already we have discussed in the history of tourism. Then why this tourism matters? What happened to this sector? Why everyone is talking about tourism industry? Because now tourism is contributing 9% to the world GDP. This sector creating one job among 11 jobs in the world. The share of this sector in export is 1.3 trillion US dollar. 6% of world's exports. And exports of least developed countries is 6%. 10.3% of all jobs, which is 333 billion, and 10.3% of global GDP, which is 9.6 trillion US dollar. International tourist spending amounted on around 1.8 trillion US dollar in 2019. And particularly in our field, we are benchmarking 2019 because you all know due to this pandemic, 2020 and 2021 was totally devastated, and this was the first industry to fall. And we hope post COVID, this will be the last industry to get up. So, women representation is around 55% of the workforce in the tourism sector, and which encourages women empowerment. Tourism is not just an economic tool, but also has the potential to contribute directly and indirectly to sustainable development goals. Specifically, it has been included as a target in Goal 8, 12, and 14 on inclusive and sustainable economic growth, sustainable consumption and production, and the sustainable use of oceans and marine resources respectively. And recently, you must have heard about responsible tourism. In case of responsible tourism, all the parties in that tourism are aware of using or following the sustainable practices. So, tourism is important. Then we should discuss about the effects of tourism. Being the tourism professional, I should not show you only positive effects, but also we should discuss the negative impacts and how to come out of all those negative impacts. Tourism being a social, cultural, and economic phenomenon can generate positive and negative impacts in the society, and particularly at the destinations, tourist destinations, and its culture and the economy of the destination. These impacts are analyzed using data gathered by the businesses, government organizations, and industries. What are those effects? First, we should discuss about the economic gains. What kind of economic profits due to the development of tourism in our society, in the tourist destinations? First of all, it is a bigger benefit, economic benefit to the country to earn foreign exchange. Tourism contributes a lot to the foreign exchange earning of the country, and which can be one mode of exchange in other ways. Contribution to government revenues, because tourism is a bigger umbrella. Under that umbrella, not of allied sectors one, but majorly tourism based on 5 A's. First A stands for attraction, second A stands for accessibility, third A stands for accommodation, fourth A stands for activities, and fifth A stands for amenities. So here, if you think about attractions, nowadays, art agencies, electronic and print media, all are working for the promotion of any particular tourist attractions. That may be man-made attraction, that may be natural attraction, that may be sponsored by state, center, or any private companies. So, in that particular aspect of attraction, just imagine how many people are working and how many transactions are going on. But definitely from each and every transaction, government earning its taxes and surcharges. If we talk about the second A, that means accessibility, and accessibility means mode of transportation, how to reach to that particular destination. So definitely the mode of transportation means roadways, railways, waterways, airways. So the mode of transportation, just imagine how many people are traveling. And in that case also government earning taxes. If you think about the accommodation sector, hard A of tourism, accommodation, lot of hotels, restaurants, standalone restaurants, chain properties, resorts, motels, they all are working for the service accommodation sector. And in every transaction, every activity is government. So it is contributing to government revenue large. Employment generation, already we have discussed, out of 11 jobs, tourism creating a business. And just imagine all these subsectors are working, operating their business under the bigger umbrella of healthcare. So from that only, you can imagine how many people are working in railways, how many people are in road transportation, how many people are working in aeroplanes, airports, seaports, hotel industry, restaurants, allied sectors just like handicrafts, handlooms. So employment generation is one major role of tourism development in any nation or any district. Contribution to local economies. Definitely, if one particular destination is going to be developed as a tourist destination, the flow of tourists will increase day by day. And when the tourist flow will increase to that particular destination, the host community of that particular destination will be benefited, maybe directly or indirectly. Because if someone will open one souvenir shop over there, if someone will be one taxi driver to travel to facilitate to those tourists, they may be the direct beneficiaries from that particular destination by the tourism development. But there are so many people, maybe the farmer of that particular area, who is selling his vegetables to the restaurants, hotels, those who are catering to the tourists in that particular destination. So they are the indirect beneficiaries from the industry, from the development of it. So overall economic boost, definitely when there will be the development of infrastructure, there will be the development of economy, and definitely the host community, the people of that particular destination will lead one quality life, and it will be the sign of an overall economic boost. When we discuss about the economic impact of tourism, negative. What are the negative impact of negative economic impact of tourism? First, we discuss about economic leakage. We all know in every sector, if a lot of transactions involved, lot of economic activity will be involved, then definitely there is a possibility of economic leakage. Infrastructure cost. Initially, generally, we think if we develop a destination or as per the demand of the tourist or as per the demand of the local people, government focuses on one particular destination to develop the infrastructure. So road, electricity, water supply, basic amenities like rest houses, toilets, washrooms. So these all infrastructure need cost. Definitely, it will be requiring one sizable amount to be spent for development of all these type of amenities over there, facilities over there. But initially, it looked like these all facilities will be enjoyed by the tourists only. But subsequently, if you think if those all common infrastructures, roads, water supply, electricity, everything will boost the infrastructure of that particular destination where the locals will be benefited more. So, though I have included it as the negative impact, but again, I want to the infrastructural costs, which is initially a burden to the government, initially a burden for the local authorities, but again, it can be covered up by the utilization of common people. Increase in prices, obviously, we feel if tourists are coming and they will purchase the stock, and if there will be the high demand of the stock in the market with a low supply, so definitely the prices of the products will increase. But we cannot restrict it, or we should think about the large scale supply to that particular destination. So it can be economic dependence of the local community. Definitely, when the destination will develop and particularly the tourist flow will increase, sometimes the local people will be dependent on the tourism activities directly or indirectly. So maybe some local may have left their traditional work with farming, maybe carpentry, maybe any other work they are supposed to do or they are doing traditionally, but now they have shifted to the tourism activity. They have involved themselves in tourism businesses. So generally, it will create a dependency on tourism. So foreign ownership and management definitely the foreign direct investment is open in tourism sector, and if we take the statistics, then a lot of foreign companies are investing in this sector in our country also. So it is another negative aspect of tourism, the foreign ownership and management in each state. We also discuss about the social gains due to the development of tourism. What are social gains? Preserving local culture. Actually, it's considered, particularly the local cultures nowadays protected the tourism department. If you think in one particular destination, the culture is diluted with the foreign culture, with the outsiders. So, tourism department or development of development of tourism, they all are trying to protect the local culture because the very original local culture is nowadays one tourist product to sell it and strengthening communities. Obviously, when the participation of communities, local people, nowadays they are actively participating in those activities in development of a particular destination. So, in sorts of their financial development, in sorts of educational development, government is also providing all sorts of trainings for their skill development. So, overall, development of the community is going on. Then commercialization of cultural art. Previously, the culture and art, for example, there will be local dances, local song, local musical instruments, musics. So these were going to be vanished from the society. But nowadays, due to the development of religion, commercialization of culture skills, nowadays dance programs, the tourists are very much interested to enjoy the local dance, but particularly the lifestyle of the rural people of a particular community, how they are working, how they are cultivating, how they are doing their household works, day-to-day life. This also nowadays one tourism product for the tourists. Even on the way we see the people carrying some goods with their basket. Then also we stand and we enjoy how they are carrying. Even if you take the example of talking the tea leaves in the Assam tea garden, that is a people work. That is their culture. They always do that. But that can be one tourism product, and that particular culture can attract a lot of tourists to the tea gardens of Assam. So we can commercialize all these cultural and art. Repopulation of cultural art. Sometimes government also focusing on those cultural arts which is vanishing from the society. Government trying to finance it, government trying to motivate all those artisans, those who are involved in all those type of activities, to revitalize all those culture and art. Just government want to protect it and to carry it for a longer time so that people can enjoy, the outsiders can enjoy. Preservation of heritage, so that may be monumental heritage, that may be man-made heritage, that may be environmental heritage. Nowadays, it is protected. There are different slogans government giving training programs how to protect all the heritage. Government involving the local communities not to destroy any monumental heritage or any environmental heritage, and by utilizing it in a minimum amount, and we want government is giving training to the local people to keep it for a longer period so that from that particular heritage only they can earn something when the tourist will visit that place. Definitely economically that is beneficial for the local communities or people those who are involved in tourism activities. So preservation of heritage and motivation to preserve all those heritage is done through the tourism development or by the local authorities or the tourism employees or the people involved in that particular sector. Empowering communities, already I have discussed the in all respects the particular community hosting that particular destination. So in all respects, socially, economically, uh, they are empowered by different agencies involved in this. The social impact of building negative. What is the negative? First of all, social change. Generally, in particular tourist destinations, the outsiders generally visit the destination with a different culture, and when the local and the visitors will meet, definitely there will be some cultural exchange which happens. That may be the language, that may be the dressing sense, that may be the food habits, that may be the dance, song, whatever may be. But there must be some exchange, cultural exchange, social exchange. So definitely, either the visitor is learning something from the local people, or the local people are learning something from them. So it is one social change where you find some people who are wearing one particular dress of their community, but nowadays they have changed their dressing sense. They are wearing the jeans and hat, and something due to the tourist effect on that particular destination. So that can be taken as social change. Globalization and destruction of uh, preservation and heritage. Definitely, one particular heritage which was not so popular, or that may be one monument which was not so popular previously due to tourism, it was exposed to the world, and if any type of restrictions of that particular community not to show it to the world, but due to tourism, it has come to the eye of the world. And definitely, if the maximum use of that preserved area by the tourists, definitely it will lead towards the destruction. So it can be put as a negative impact. Loss of authenticity. Definitely, if we talk about authentic places, food, dance, song of one particular destination, and due to the development of tourism, sometimes we try to make our cuisine in such a way which will be acceptable by the outsiders. For example, food. The food may be very tasty for the local people, but that will not be acceptable, or that may not be tasty for the outsiders. So, to make it acceptable by the outsiders, we do some change so that it will lose its authenticity. For example, one particular pattern of dress, particular pattern of printing in our on the name
Himanshu sir,
by our.
Himanshu sir, your voice is not coming.
Sir, am I audible now?
His
Sir, am I
voice is
audible?
not coming. Just now disconnected.
Sir, am I audible? Hello. Sir, am I audible now?
No, nothing.
Not audible, sir.
Not coming, sir. No sound. I think without. Okay, but others members are telling they are able to listen you. Sir, okay, sir.
Sir?
Okay, now it's okay. Now it's okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Then cultural classes, definitely already I have discussed how cultural classes occurred due to the exchange of different types of activities, the involvement of outsiders in the local activities and local people with the outsiders or tourists. So cultural exchanges are there, and definitely there will be one cultural class also. Increase in crime, gambling, and moral behavior, sometimes due to large number of tourists or due to the carrying capacity of that particular destination, sometimes due to the large flow of tourists to that particular destination, or due to the competition in businesses, sometimes crimes happens, and gambling and moral loss of moral behavior. So these are some negative social impacts due to the development of tourism. The environmental impacts of tourism, positive. So, in case of environment, all environment protectors always claim that tourism is the only reason to destruct our environmental resources. Although there are not as many positive environmental impacts of tourism as there are negative, it is important to note that tourism can help to preserve the environment, because it will talk about responsible tourism, it will talk about eco-tourism. Then you'll find one particular area uh, is identified to do all sorts of activities without disturbing, without making any loss to the environment. So, tourism is also responsible towards protection of environments in all sorts of all different types of environmental resources. The most commonly noted positive environmental impact of tourism is raised awareness. Many destinations promote tourism, eco-tourism, and sustainable tourism, and this can help to educate people about the environmental impacts of tourism. Government of India also organizing different types of awareness programs to protect the environment, the minimal use of the environment, the right proper use of the environment. So these things can enhance the responsibility among the tourists as well as the local people to protect the environment and to contribute as a tourism product for a longer time. So the negative impact on environment due to the depletion of natural resources, water resources, land degradation, local resources, definitely due to the increased number of accommodation sector, due to the increased number of transportation facilities, due to the increased number of people over that destination, particular destination. So these all are the reason to disturb the resources present over there. Pollution is another way, air pollution, noise pollution, solid waste and littering, sewage, and aesthetic pollution. These all are the negative impacts of development of tourism on environment. But still, people take the example of Goa. Goa is a very renowned tourist destination in our country. But you'll find there is one role in Goa after 9 p.m. night. There not be any kind of noise from any property, any hotel, any bar, any disco, any from any mode of tourism, there will not be any noise. To control the noise pollution, the rule has been made, and particularly the guests visiting that particular destination, they are also very much responsible to us not to make any kind of noise after 9 p.m. And the well-managed solid disposal, waste disposal system or garbage disposal system must be followed by all parties involved in tourism development so that the negative impact towards environment can be diminished. Then factors for growth of tourism. Why the tourism sector is growing? Why not previously? Why now? Rising disposable income. Because people discuss about the income of the people. In 1980s, everyone was earning for their basic needs, food, shelter, care. But people talk about 90s, after 80s, then 90s, people started to work for their development. That means from bicycle to motorcycle, from mud huts to at least asbestos cemented room. But in 20th century, it started working for the luxury. That means from motorcycle to car, from asbestos into concrete, rooftop, buildings, villas, your duplex. So this implies the income of public has raised, the disposable income of public has raised. The earning is higher in comparison to the previous years. So when the people will start earn more, then they will be interested to spend towards their leisure, recreation, and pleasure. Increasing leisure time also. Previously, one employee was stuck up for 8 to 10 hours or 10 to 12 hours for less money, for less amount of salary. But nowadays, people are working for themselves. Entrepreneurship started, startup started. Now people are not interested to be the employee. They want to be the employers. So definitely they are having the extra time. Now everyone is working to earn more in comparison to spending their time. So they are increasing their leisure time. So definitely when there will be the free time with one person and also with a good amount of disposable income, he or she will think to travel some places for the leisure and recreation. Transportation income. Definitely in all modes of transportation. That may be roadways, that may be waterways, that may be airways. If we compare about 19th and 20th century, there are the limited options in different modes of transportation. Previously, hardly one or two airlines companies were flying their flights, limited number of airports, limited number of highways. Even the condition of the highways were very, very poor. Waterways, it was not so developed. So transportation improvement. Now we are thinking about the bullet trains, but previously it was one dream to have one express train at least. So transportation improvement is nowadays one reason for the growth of tourism. Previously, one particular distance was taking around 3 hours. Now that we can reach on the road by 15 minutes due to the good condition of the roads, higher level of education, particularly in different levels, maybe operation level, maybe managerial level, or to become the entrepreneurs in particular field of tourism studies. There are so many various educational institutions from school level, intermediate level, to in university level, in different types of programs are offered to the students, and particularly students are going through different skill development programs to work at this sector. Even students are pursuing their higher studies, like they are also pursuing their research in this sector. So higher level of education is also one reason for the growth of tourism. Global marketing of tourism destinations. Nowadays, the mobile phone is the main tool for marketing with high speed internet. So global marketing, previously the advertisement in the television also was a very costly affair, but nowadays it can reach to each and every person in this world. The advertisement of any destination, the marketing of one particular destination can reach to each and every person in the world due to the high-speed internet facility and due to the Android. Then forms of tourism. What are different forms of tourism? As per UNWTO, three different forms of tourism. One is domestic tourism, inbound tourism, and outbound tourism. Domestic tourism, which comprises the activities of a resident visitor within the country of residence. If Indian citizen doing his tour or he's traveling within the country, within the boundary of India, then he or she may be considered domestic tourist. Inbound tourism, which comprises the activity of a non-resident visitor within the country of the reference. For example, if one foreigner is visiting India and traveling within Indian boundary, then that tour, that travel will be considered as inbound tourism. Outbound tourism, which comprises the activities of a resident visitor outside the country of reference. That means if one Indian is visiting to USA, and that travel will be considered as outbound tourism. There are different types of tourism. What are actually types of tourism always depend on the purpose of tourism. It may be rural tourism if the tourist wants to experience the rural any rural area, rural culture, rural people, rural activities, then definitely that will be termed as rural tourism. Domestic tourism, we have already discussed. International tourism, if one guest is visiting various international destinations, then that can be treated as outbound tourism, we have already discussed. Business tourism. Business tourism is a subset of tourism because in this case, because UNWTO already clarified, if the tour is one remunerative purpose, but the remunerative purpose it cannot be treated as tourism. But in case of business tourism, the business people move from one place to another place for their business purposes. But during their travel, when they are involved the maximum tourism facilities, tourism activities, they enjoy tourism amenities, then definitely that will be one subset of tourism that is termed as business tourism. Wildlife tourism, you must be knowing to enjoy the wildlife of any destination. We are visiting any national park or reserve forests or watching different types of wildlife available there. And that is wildlife tourism. In wellness tourism, medical tourism. Medical tourism is a very attractive form of tourism nowadays for India also, and particularly our Chennai city attracts around 45% of the medical tourists due to the advanced infrastructural hospital infrastructural facilities, the high qualified doctors, and highly good laboratories in those hospitals. So medical tourism is now in demand. Then adventure tourism, definitely adventure tourism, those people particular group of people, those having interest to explore something, and those who are generally risk takers to go for one new destination in search of a new destination. Generally, they go for adventure tourism, and sometimes adventure activities are there. Generally, visitors, all visitors are not interested to go for those adventurous activities. For example, river rafting, bungee jumping, skiing, or paragliding. These all are very adventurous activities, and particularly to do all those, to involve in those activities, tourists visit from one place to another. In pilgrimage tourism, it is the oldest form of tourism, generally for the purpose of visiting different spiritual sites, spiritual places, religious places, generally pilgrimage tour from one place to another. And cultural tourism is also one older form of tourism. Dark tourism, particularly dark tourism, it may be a new term for you all, but dark tourism is a type of tourism. Generally, if I'll give you one example, Jallianwala Bagh jail is a destination of dark tourism. If we talk about one incident that Hiroshima and Nagasaki can be considered as one dark tourism destination, particularly where there is something happened, bigger incidents, accidents happened in those places, and people are interested to see that, to visit that particular place, then that tourism can be termed as dark tourism. In culinary tourism, particularly nowadays, people also moving from one place to another place to enjoy the authentic culinary dishes of that particular destination, to enjoy the particular cuisine of that particular destination, the food pattern, to involve themselves in cooking, serving food, and having food there with local music, dances. So, these are known as culinary tourism. And educational tourism nowadays, different purposes of visiting for the purpose of education. And nowadays, the MICE is very much famous in educational tourism. For meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions, people are moving from one place to another places. So, celebrity tourism or film tourism. So these are different types of tourism. Cruise tourism also, it was not so much famous in our country, but nowadays government of India has started cruise ships, commercial, domestic, luxurious cruise. Recently, government of India has started from Mumbai to Goa, Karnika. Another cruise is our Angria. So these are some cruise. Even in Northeast also there is one river cruise named as Mahabahu cruise on the river Brahmaputra. So these are different types of tourism. Then we should talk about our country, Atulya Bharat, Incredible India. What is the position of India in tourism? India is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. India is a mosaic of multicultural experiences. Everyone knows India is a country of multiculture. We're having different religions, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Islam, all types of cultures are available here. With a rich heritage and myriad attractions, the country is among the most popular tourist destinations in the world. It covers an area of 32,87,263 square kilometers, extending from the snow-covered Himalayan heights to the tropical rainforests of the south. As the seventh largest country in the world, India stands apart from the rest of Asia, marked up as it is by mountains and the sea, which gives the country a distinct geographical entity. In tourism point of view, the abundance of vast mountain ranges, exciting national parks, enchanting rivers, roaring seas, alluring beaches, silent valleys, thrilling waterfalls, historical monuments, holy temples, and diverse tribal culture, added with the rich hospitality of its people, India offers innumerable opportunity for tourism. 40 World Heritage Sites in our country, 10 biogeographic zones, 108 national parks, and 565 wildlife sanctuaries in our country. What is the early development of tourism in our country? How tourism started, how government focused on this sector. The first conscious and organized efforts to promote tourism in India were made in 1945 when a committee was set up by the government under the chairmanship of Sir John Sargent, the then educational advisor to the government. The first committee was set in 1945. Thereafter, the development of tourism was taken up in a planned manner in 1956, coinciding with the second five-year plan. The approach has evolved from isolated planning of single unit facilities in the second and third five-year plans. Indian Tourism Development Corporation was set in 1966. It came into existence and played a vital role in the country's tourism industry's development, promotion, and growth. The sixth plan, which is from 1980 to 85, marked the beginning of a new era when tourism began to be considered a major instrument for social integration and economic development. The Planning Commission of India recognized tourism as an industry in 1982, and also a national policy on tourism was announced in 1980. Later in 1988, the National Committee on Tourism formulated a comprehensive plan for achieving a sustainable growth in tourism. In 1992, a National Action Plan was prepared, and in 1996, the National Strategy of Promotion of Tourism was drafted. In 1997, the new tourism policy recognizes the roles of central and state governments, public sector undertakings, and the private sector in the development of tourism. The need for involvement of Panchayati Raj institutions, local bodies, non-governmental organizations, and the local youth in the creation of tourism facilities has also been noted. So these are the developments of tourism in our country. How the government has emphasized on this sector year after year to make this industry viable, to make this industry attractive. Then types of tourism in India. Already we have discussed what can be different types of tourism, but particularly some types of tourism are nowadays mushrooming in India, like medical tourism, adventure tourism, but spiritual tourism, culture tourism, pilgrimage tourism, these all are the very, very ancient form of tourism in our adventure tourism. Already we have discussed exploration of remote areas and exotic locals and engaging in various activities. But which places are famous for adventure tourism and which states are attracting more and more number of adventure tourists? For adventure tourism in India, tourists prefer to go for trekking to places like Ladakh, Sikkim, and Himalaya. Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir are popular for the skiing facilities there. Whitewater rafting is also catching on in India, and tourists flock to places such as Uttarakhand, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh for this activity. Beach tourism, India's vast coastline and icelands provides ample opportunities for contact tourism. Kerala, Goa, Andaman Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep Islands attract tourists in large number all around the world. In cultural tourism, India is known for its rich cultural heritage and element of history, which is why tourists come to India to experience it for themselves. The various fairs and festivals that tourists can visit in India, mainly Pushkar Fair, Taj Mahotsav, Suraj Mela, Tar Festival. So these are various cultural attractions for the tourists to attend. Sites like Ajanta, Ellora Caves, Mahabalipuram, Hampi, Taj Mahal, Awa Mahal, and so many other cultural monuments are available in which the fine art of stone carvings and culturally rich areas can attract more and more number of tourists. In ecotourism, ecotourism entails the sustainable preservation of a naturally endowed area region. This is becoming more and more significant for the ecological development of all regions that have tourist value. For ecotourism in India, tourists can go to places such as Kaziranga National Park, Assam, Gir National Park, and Kanha National Park. There are some examples, but there are not many ecotourism sites which can attract more number of tourists. In medical tourism, already I have discussed, tourists from all over the world have been thronging India to avail themselves of cost-effective but superior quality healthcare in terms of surgical procedures and general medical attention. Why actually they are coming to India? There are several medical institutes in the country. They cater to foreign patients and impact top quality healthcare at a fraction of what we could have cost in developed nations such as US and UK. In American and European countries, the cost of all those treatments are more costlier in comparison to the cost of hospitals. So that's why they are coming to India for that particular medical care. The city of Chennai attracts around 35% of medical tourists from foreign countries. In wildlife tourism, India has a rich forest cover which has some beautiful and exotic species of wildlife, some of which that are even endangered and very rare. This has boosted wildlife tourism in India. The places where a foreign tourist can go for wildlife tourism in India are Sariska Wildlife Sanctuary, Keoladio Ghana National Park, Corbett National Park. There are so many other wildlife sanctuaries available like Similipal, Manas. There are so many sanctuaries available in our country which can attract more and more number of tourists to our country. How tourism contributes to Indian economy? How this sector helping our country economically? Before the epidemic, India's travel and tourism sector contributed 7% of the country's GDP, particularly in 2019. But that figure dropped to just 4.3%, which is $9.2 trillion, with a decrease of 41.7%. The sector provided more than 40 million jobs in 2009, but that number dropped to a little over 29 million in 2020 as the COVID pandemic decimated the industry. With an 8.3% increase in employment this year in 2022, there will be close to 35 million jobs in the travel and tourism industry. The prediction also shows that during the next 10 years, the industry is predicted to add more than 24 million employment for more than 2.4 million new positions annually. So just imagine how this sector contributing to the economy, how this sector generating employment opportunities. 6 things Modi government, 6 steps Modi government has taken to make our country, India, a tourist hub. First point, first step, the Tourism Ministry has sanctioned 131 lakh rupees for the development of 4 rural tourism sites. So states in which these sites are Arunachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Uttarakhand, Punjab, and Tripura. Second step taken by central government to promote tourism, the ministry has split the northeast region into theme-based circuits to boost tourism in the zone under the Swadesh Darshan scheme. Actually, government is running now 2 important schemes. One is Prasad, another one is Swadesh Darshan. So under Swadesh Darshan scheme, ministry has allocated special fund to Northeast to push the tourism in this sector. The government also launched 6 tourist circuits in a big way to provide a boost to the sector. What are those circuits? One is Ramayana circuit, second one is desert circuit, third one is eco circuit, fourth one is wildlife circuit, and fifth one is rural circuit. So under these circuits, particularly those destinations will come, they will be benefited by the special package, special finance, special attention. Number 3 is major cleanliness campaign under the Swachh Bharat movement for protecting and preserving the sanctity of monuments of national heritage. Because cleanliness is one major problem, major issue, major challenge in almost all monumental areas, almost all heritage, national heritage destinations. So nowadays, in major pilgrimage sites, major monument sites, you will find government is building different washrooms, toilets, wardrobe room means to keep bags and baggages of visitors, cloakrooms. So this is also one major drive by the government to keep the destination clean. So Swachh Bharat is a very big movement of our central government. Then the 4th step of central government to promote tourism in our country is financial assistance to states, including places of religious importance for various tourism projects. For development of tourism infrastructure in the country, the ministry has introduced 2 new schemes. One is Prasad. Prasad stands for Pilgrimage Rejuvenation and Spiritual Augmentation Drive. And Swadesh Darshan, integrated development of theme-based tourist sites. Under Swadesh Darshan, around 11 circuits are going to be developed. On a pilot basis, Incredible India number 5th step is on a pilot basis. Incredible India helpline has been set up to guide the tourists. Whatever may be the issue, the tourist can dial that number. It's a helpline number, and government will try to resolve immediately. Then the 6th point, ministry has adopted a code of conduct for safe tourism, which contains a set of guidelines to encourage tourism activities to be undertaken with respect to basic rights like dignity, safety, and freedom from exploitation of both tourists and local residents. Here you will find the government is not only concerned about the tourists, government is concerned for both the parties, for tourists as well as local residents. And particularly, these 3 points have been addressed: dignity, safety, and freedom. And particularly for women and children, the government has started this drive and taken this step. In tourist destinations, women and children were mostly affected, badly affected due to different type of experiences. The ministry has taken a good step to address these issues. Then, lastly, I want to conclude the robust demands of this sector in our country. The medical tourism sector is predicted to increase at a CAGR of 21.1% from 2020 to 2027. The medical tourism is now the biggest opportunity for Indian entrepreneurs, government of India to earn uh, foreign currencies or to create more and more employment opportunities to generate more revenue from this particular type of tourism. The travel market in India is projected to reach around 125 billion US dollars by 2027 financial year. International tourist arrivals are expected to reach 30.5 million by 2028. These are the outcomes of different studies. What are the opportunities? Government is providing free loans to MSMEs to help them deal with the crisis and revive the economy, including the tourism sector. And particularly, this package is announced after COVID, during COVID. Huge entrepreneurs or business houses in the tourism sector will also be benefited by taking this few years. Post-pandemic crisis, the government plans to tap into regional tourism by opening doors for South Asian countries tourists. Nowadays, government is focusing on rural tourism, regional tourism, particularly we are receiving in compared to Europe, US, American country and European country, we are receiving less number of tourists from South Asian countries. So to increase that number, government is focusing on regional tourism. That means particularly India, Myanmar, Bhutan, Thailand, Singapore. This particular region, the tourist development required to develop the sector and to attract more and more number of tourists in these other countries. For the support of the government, in the union budget, particularly for this financial year 2022-23, 2,400 crore rupees, which is 309.13 million US dollars, has been allocated to the Ministry of Tourism, and this is the highest budget which is received by the ministry till now. In August 2022, Ministry of Tourism sanctioned 76 projects for around 5,399.95 crore rupees under Swadesh Darshan scheme for development of tourism infrastructure in the country. So this is the these are the steps that the government to boost the tourism sector in our country, and I think government is creating one opportunity for the development of tourism and creating the whole India as a tourism product for the other part of the world. With one slogan, I want to conclude my session: conserve your cultural diversity, preserve it for your future. Thank you. And,
Thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. So far, we have not received any question. So, dear friends, if you are having any question, just please put up in the chat box so that Professor Raut may respond to those. Tourism is a topic where everyone is interested, directly or indirectly. We all are tourists. If you see tourism from philosophical point of view, we all are tourists. We came to Earth as a tourist and then we have to go back. So we all are tourists. So when we are here,
Everyone is a tourist, sir, nowadays.
yeah. Oh yes. Otherwise, also we are tourists only.
They may have participated in different types of tourism activities, but all are tourists.
All are tourists. So friends, if you are having any question, please put up here. Nothing. No question is coming, sir. So we assume that your presentation was very clear. All the points were very, very clear. That's why it's not raising any question. Only thank yous are coming now. So, uh, so we may conclude this session here. Is okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So on behalf of all the participants and on behalf of HRDC Mizoram University, I would like to say thanks to you for your nice presentation. This will certainly give us some input so that we can think of this, especially your last sentence, preserve your identity, preserve